Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Healing, the podcast, where we go beyond just sharing testimonies and we dive into what life looks like after the healing begins. I am your host, Dorcas P., a purposeful healing coach, helping you to let go, lean in, and embrace the joy of healing on purpose so that you can expand your capacity for abundance and fully activate your kingdom purpose. Listen, I have been on a mission to providing the best content for you this season, content that will help you heal mind, body, and soul. And we've been focusing on the mind and the soul, but I really want to dig into the body. Because oftentimes we get caught up in the loud trauma, the molestation, the rape, the abandonment, the mother and the father wound. But oftentimes we overlook that trauma that really affects us. The trauma of having to look a certain way, to eat a certain thing, to show up a certain way. People telling us what our version of healthy should look like. And so my guest today, she is the perfect person to lend her expertise as it relates to healing your relationship with your food and body. Because, we're from the South. She's here from Alabama. We're from the South. And a lot of people develop these unhealthy relationships with food. And then we allow society to tell us that we're wrong. You should look this way. You should stop eating that. You shouldn't show up this way. And I'm so glad that she gave me her yes. But Mrs. Andrea Mathis, some of you may know her as Andy. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and the owner of a nourishing food blog, Beautiful Eats and Things, and the body positive online store, the Beautiful Eats and Things shop. She is also the author of not one but two books: The Complete Book of Smoothies, 115 healthy recipes to nourish, heal, and energize. Her unconventional and practical approach to providing wholesome recipes and body inclusive focused nutrition advice has been featured in so many places in the nation's leading media outlets, including Good Morning America, Women's Health, Prevention, Huffington Post, Shape, and many more. Listen, she is a contributing editor for Eating Well, The Kitchen, Food and Nutrition magazine, and the contributor to Mind, Body, and Green, and so much more. Listen, when she's not running behind after her two boys, she enjoys creating content to encourage self-love and promote body positivity. I told y'all, she is the perfect person to have this conversation with. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation, for this episode of Beyond the Healing, the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for that introduction.
Listen, you have been your reach, your influence, your inspiration has touched so many lives. And I've been following you. We both graduated from the University of Montevallo, and it warms my soul to see someone, one of us,
Yes.
being bold, being brave,
Right.
being unapologetic. That is the thing. Being unapologetic in your approach and in your stance, because you know what it's like.
Right.
I'm considered plus size, and oftentimes, I'm guilty of not showing up because I'm supposed to look a certain way.
Right.
But can I tell you, when I decided to lock my hair, get a nose ring, and just show up as me, it was the most liberating thing I could have ever done.
Yes.
I could have ever done. So for those of you who don't follow you, don't know who you are, I want you to share a little bit of your journey as a registered dietitian and what led you to transition into full-time content creation.
Well, so I started off as, I'm still a dietitian, but I worked in the clinical setting. So I worked at the hospital. I also worked in long-term care, worked in public health. And so I worked in different settings, and I did not foresee content creation as something for me at all. I had no idea what it was about. I didn't even know that was a career path. So I was working at a long-term care facility, and it was an okay job. I wanted something else because I had my baby. So I had my second child, and I wanted to be at home more. And so I was looking at part-time jobs, and I was trying to apply for part-time jobs. I went on so many interviews, did not get one call back, everybody was like, no, you're not qualified. I was like, I know that I'm qualified or overqualified because I was a director in my current position. And I was just applying just for a regular dietitian job. And I was like, why am I not getting these part-time jobs? And so I said, well, let me just start doing what I like to do, which is cook. And so I started posting on social media, just like Facebook, Instagram, and people were asking, well, where's your website? Where's your blog? And I was like, okay, what is that? So I had to do some research to figure out, like, what's a food blog? Like, how do you get into it? And so when I started my blog, I started having people to reach out to me, like, do you want to do a recipe and we pay you for this? And I had no idea that that was any type of career avenue, nothing. And so within a year of starting my blog, I was able to leave that full-time job and do the content creation full-time.
Wow.
Yes.
It's amazing how the thing that we never thought of will be the thing that really allows us to fully operate in our purpose.
Right.
You're still a dietitian.
Yes.
You went to school, you got the knowledge, you got the credentials, but also your experiences in life and the things that you experienced gave you qualified you, I would say, to be able to do something that you never even thought of.
Right.
And that's the thing I love about it. That's how I know, like, God is so intentional.
Yes.
He will allow us to go to school, give us this passion, give us this thing, and then he will just literally pivot the direction. And I had a guest and we were talking about the power of the pivot and the healing power of the pivot. And so the fact that you didn't even know what a food blog was. You had to do research. You were looking for a part-time job.
Yes. And I was questioning why I didn't get these part-time jobs.
That part. That part. Because it wasn't that, because if you had have gotten that part-time job, Beautiful Eats and Things probably wouldn't be a thing today.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. I love it. I love it. So many women struggle with the diet culture and feeling like their bodies are never good enough. And that's one thing I love. I'm loving the crop tops. I'm loving.
Yes.
Listen, if you haven't, go. I need you to binge watch. Go out on her page, whatever, Instagram. All of it will be linked in the bio below, in the caption below. But go out and binge watch, because when she will serve you a body unapologetically, and I'm like, girl, I love it. And it's very, we've seen people, Lizzo and so many other people in the media, plus size women showing their bodies, and oftentimes that is like, oh my God. But I love the tastefulness of how you do it.
Yes.
And showing us that, girl, so what? Get your crop top and wear it.
Right. Yes. Like, don't be ashamed. I mean, if you want to, because I'm like, not everybody wants to put on a crop top, and that's fine. But if you want to, don't let, a couple of little rolls here and there, deter you from doing that.
And so what was your turning point? Like, what was the turn? Have you always felt that way? Or what was the turning point that was like, you know what? I need to change the narrative for a lot of people. I need to be the one, be the pioneer, be one of the pioneers to say, you know what? Hey, I'm a registered dietitian and nutritionist. I'm just going to change. I'm just going to shake the game up real quick for y'all. Like, what was that turning point for you?
Oh my goodness. Like, well, I mean, it took a minute because, like, I've always been like, I love bright colors. I'm bubbly. I like to have fun. But I will say, like, in my early ages, early 20s or whatever, I worked at MAC Cosmetics. So I was a makeup artist. And so most of my wardrobe consisted of like black clothes. So like, cause we had to wear black. And so I was like, okay, so you open up my closet, you just saw black clothes. And I used that as an excuse to just keep that in my wardrobe. But honestly, I like the black clothes because it made me look slimmer. I thought it made me kind of blend in. I didn't draw attention to myself. And so it was I was invited somewhere and they were asking people to wear a certain color. And I didn't have any color in my closet. And I was like, I just got black. I think I maybe had some brown. Everything was just neutral, dark.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was like, I'm tired of this. Like this is not me. This does not represent who I am. Like I love bright colors, but I got all this black in my closet. And I'm just hoping that nobody will notice my size. And I believe at that point, which was maybe not, well, maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think maybe at that point I was like, okay, something needs to change because the world isn't seeing me. Like I'm trying to cover myself up because I was just afraid of what the world would think.
It's that fear.
Yeah.
It's that fear of and that's the thing that holds so many people back. The fear
Right.
of what other people would think. The fear of what they would have to say. But the reality is they can't shame us unless we allow them to shame us.
Right. Exactly.
And that's no matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your experience is, the world can't shame us unless we allow them to shame us. And the way that they shame us is by keeping us silent, keeping us, having it so that we continue to conform to their narrative,
Exactly.
what's quote unquote right, the norm, what society is supposed to set. But it's not until we step onto the other side of that, like I said, after the healing begins, when we realize that, hold up,
Right.
like this is jail, this is bondage. Like I cannot be free.
It is.
Let me be free.
Right. Exactly.
And that's where we get that power, when we realize that nobody can shame us. And in order for us to be our most authentic selves, we have to be our most authentic selves.
That is so true. Yeah.
And so, social media world it's a love and hate relationship.
Right.
How do you deal with that, the trolls? I would say.
Oh my goodness. It's hard. Like I still have them to this day. I still have, like, I get messages, DMs, how you gonna tell me how to eat healthy? Look at you. Like I get it all. And I'm used to it by now. Like I just kind of just let it, just shrug it off. But that's what I was afraid of when I started. And that's what kind of held me back for as long as it did, because I was afraid of what people would say. But I had to remember, and like when you think about it, these trolls, they have their own insecurities. And so when they're saying all that stuff, they're usually just projecting it onto someone else. And I had to look at it like that. So I'm like, this is not, that's a you problem. This has nothing to do with me. This is your own insecurity. And I think once I looked at it that way, it didn't bother me. But it took some time to get there, because words can hurt, especially when you already feel insecure about something. And so when they want to call it out and point it out, yeah, that can be tough. But I was like, no, I know who I am now.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is it. That is it. Knowing who you are.
Right.
And so if that is the key theme. Whenever, no matter what you are healing, no matter what you are going through, when you understand who you are,
it's a game changer. Yes.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer, because nobody has the right to define you. Like, I tell people the only person who can invalidate you or validate you is God, because he created you. He created you in his image and likeness. He created you how he wanted you to be. And so he will never invalidate you, because he created you. He formed you. Right. So he is the only person who can validate your existence, your being, your worth. And once you understand that, you're unstoppable. And as you can see, she has been unstoppable, because I'm telling you, Go and Binge, she has been traveling, and she is such an inspiration to me. I live vicariously through people sometimes. Because, the same here, me speaking, me showing up. I remember I did my first, well, not my first photo shoot, but I have a magazine, Beyond the Healing, the Women of Hope magazine. And I was the cover of the very first issue. And it was I was nervous, but it was so liberating. Because I went and found an image, inspiration on Etsy, and I recreated that pose. And it felt amazing to love you in
Yes.
spite of what you think the world may say.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what I love about you. That's what I love about your platform. That's what I love about your messaging.
Thank you. That's something that I try to, I guess, make clear in my messaging because, like, I do want to share good recipes, but I also want to share a message and just to share that, first of all, health looks different for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. That was like my biggest message. And, and just continue to kind of fight for that respect and dignity for all sizes because, that's something that we still struggle with in society. So,
Yeah. So, what was one of the biggest mindset shifts you had to make in
mhm.
your own journey of not being affected by the shame, your own healing journey when it came to food and your own body image?
I think, well, the biggest shift was I had to give myself permission
Mm.
because for so long, like I had so much restriction. Like I've been on diets forever. Like I tell people, I don't know, maybe it started in middle school. Like it has been a long time, just always on a diet, always checking my weight, weighing myself. And I had to give myself permission to first, eat, throughout the day, eat nourishing meals. I had to give myself permission to exist in a body that wasn't thin. Like I had to allow myself and give myself grace. And
Mm.
I feel like when I did that, that's when things shifted because I was just such in a restrictive cycle, just restricting the foods, everything, the clothes I bought. And that's miserable when you live
Yeah.
like that and you're forever just on this little, I don't know, like you just kind of restricting yourself in this box and you're not letting yourself be you. So I had to kind of give myself that permission.
I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. And you know, that I find myself in that space. I
Mhm.
am plus size.
Mhm.
um and I find myself in that space oftentimes, wanting to cover up and not giving myself permission to just be free. And a few
Right.
years ago, when I tell you I hadn't worn shorts,
Mm.
I hadn't worn anything above a Bermuda short in
Uh-huh.
public in years
Yes.
because got some craters in my thighs, gained
Uh-huh.
weight over the
Yeah.
years, and
Hmm.
I just would not allow there was so much shame, so much embarrassment. Like people
Right.
like, ew, look at her thighs and stuff. And so I never wore anything shorter than a Bermuda short
Yeah.
for years. And so I want to say it was like this is 25, maybe 2022 ish, 2022, 23. I can't 2022. My husband said, "Baby,
Yes.
buy the shorts."
Right.
And I had started losing weight, and he was like, "Baby, just buy the shorts."
Mm-hmm.
And I bought some shorts and they were halfway up my thigh. And I was like, girl, what are these shorts?
Yes. Like just
And, even though I had lost about 30 pounds then, and I've gained it back because life has life and gone through
hmm
other challenges, but I'm getting back to that person that was just wear the dang gone shorts.
really, yes. Wear them. I was the same way. I did not wear well because for me it kind of like rides up in between
Yes,
my
well,
thighs. So
the thighs that rub, and that was the thing. I can't stand just rub. Yeah.
yes. But I bought some. I have about how many? I bought maybe about 5 or 10, like a whole bunch at one time because I found some that I really like. And so if I find something that fits good, I'm gonna buy them in like whatever
That's
color.
me. That's
Yeah.
me.
So just
And
wear them.
you are. I follow some because I'm learning my style. I'm learning
Mhm.
my body. I'm learning all of those things. I'm just a comfort girl, but
Right.
you are just one of the people. Like when I have those moments where I want to cover up. I want to put on
Mhm.
every piece of shapewear that I can find to just suck
Right.
everything in, but then I'm uncomfortable
Mhm.
and hurting, and I really just want to be free. You
Yes.
know, I go out and I look. Look, your page is one of the pages I go to, and I'm like, okay, why are you obsessing over something that people may not even pay attention to?
Right. That's exactly right. Hmm.
And I've allowed that to, and I really believe you may be just here for me. I don't know. And um and I just really believe that we have to one, accept that we are who we are.
Right.
Two, accept that everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so true.
if you bring attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for example, I see this image in my head where you're out and you're pulling on your clothes and you're doing
Yes.
all of these things. You bring attention to it. And so
Mm-hmm.
of course you're thinking that everybody's looking at you, and now you're obsessing over it. And
Right.
oftentimes I think we do that before we even leave the house.
Yes. And then of course people are gonna see what you're tugging at and trying to fix, and they're gonna look at it too. So yeah.
And so now it's just like, you know, taking my husband, he said, baby, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine. You are fine.
Right.
And, you know, telling myself that and being okay with wearing a bodycon dress, because I've taken several photo shoots in a bodycon dress and I'm like, whoo, girl, you know, or wearing my arms out. And
Yeah.
it's just healing that that perspective of you have to fit in that box
Right.
in
Right.
order to present yourself to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see you on tons and tons of platforms just being you,
Mm-hmm.
it inspires people like me. I'm just being honest. You, like,
Yeah.
if you don't think, like, I know you know you're heard because you have all those followers, but it inspires
Mm-hmm.
people like me to say, so what? Big arms running your family on both sides. Your arms
Yeah.
are just big. No matter, you can be skinny and your arms are still going to be big.
Mm-hmm. Just put yourself, and I try to tell everyone, like, when I was trying to, like, because when I started on social media, I didn't start like this. I was still trying to, like, fit into this mold. Like, I was still trying to just be really, like, just restrictive and, you know, make sure I posed at the right angle so I didn't look a certain size. But the minute I started showing more of me and who I was, that's when the opportunities came.
Mm.
Because I was like, everything was so slow in the beginning, but as soon as, like, I took off some type of cake, you know, coat or something, like, I just showed the world, and it was like opportunities just coming. So I feel like you have to show up and be who you are, and then I feel like then that's when you kind of get what's meant for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. God, you know, I tell myself
Mm-hmm.
and constantly, like, you know what, God can only bless the authentic you. There are
Right.
so many imposters in the world. There are so many people who pretend to be one thing and
Mm-hmm.
they are somebody else. But God will bless the authentic you, the
Right.
you who shows up unapologetic, the you who don't apologize for who you are,
Right.
what your message is,
Mm-hmm.
and what your purpose is. And that's what it's all about. And that's another thing that I play in the back of my head. Girl, I am big on I'm an open book.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to healing and stuff
Right.
like that, I'm an open book. But I still have some insecurities, like my body, all
Mm-hmm.
those things. Yes, I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I have the aches and pains, but realizing that I can't allow that to stop me from showing up.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's where that healing begins. That's what, you know, all those things. And like you said, you know, you are a nutritionist, you're a dietitian, and so showing those recipes. And I love, you have your sweet treats, you have
Mm-hmm.
your cocktails,
Yeah.
you have your mocktails, you have that range in
Mm-hmm.
showing us that we don't have to restrict ourselves
Right.
to cardboard.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I remember a reel you did. You were doing dinner for like $10.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you're going through self checkout, and it was some vegetables, and I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
the meat, but you got your Coke.
Yes. Oh my
You
God. I got so much hate from that. Like,
Are you
people,
serious?
yes, people messaged me and was like, oh my gosh, you should have at least gotten a diet. Or you, like, oh, a dietitian get, like, and I was like, yes, I did. This is what I had a taste for. And so, yeah,
Oh my god!
I
And
got
that's the one
so
that
much.
was that one stood out to me. It was like, you showed us, and the messaging was, hey, you can be healthy on a budget, but
Right.
also if you got a taste for this Coke, let you get this
Yes.
Coke. Because the issue comes in, and this is what I've been on
Mhm.
diets, I've been all those things,
Yes.
and it's like when you deprive yourself of something,
Hmm.
when you finally get it, you're going to
Yes.
overindulge.
Hmm. Yes, you're
And so
gonna.
that was one that really stuck out to me, was that, hey, you
Mhm.
know, don't let anyone tell you you can't eat a certain thing and be
Right.
healthy.
That's
If you
exactly why I got it, because I had a taste for it. Like, I don't have a taste for that every single day, but when I do,
exactly.
I get it, and then it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
That's me and Dr. Pepper. I don't know when I fell in love with Dr. Pepper. Because I went a long time. I didn't even drink dark sodas. It was
hmm
like a Sprite or something. But
Yeah.
one day I had a Dr. Pepper, and I can't remember that day. But that is the one thing that I would, if I got a craving for it, I can
Right.
go months without it,
Uh-huh.
months without it. And one day I just want a Dr. Pepper.
And
Give me my
just get
Dr.
it.
Pepper, because you're not gonna turn your life upside down by drinking one Coke or one
Exactly.
Dr. Pepper.
That's how I look at it. Mhm.
I love it. What are some practical tips like that you would give a woman who's tired of the yo-yo dieting, tired of the body shaming, or all of and just the world stigmas altogether? What are some practical tips that you would give that woman?
I always say start with grace, like giving yourself that grace, because depending on how long you've been like in a restrictive cycle, it may take some time. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time to get to that point. And so I always say, make sure that you know that, so that you're not disappointed, like if you have a setback.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always tell people to also find a goal that's not centered around weight. So, like, if you have a goal, it could be getting stronger, increasing that endurance, adding more vegetables to your dinner meal. Focus on a goal that's not centered around that scale, and then work towards that.
I have a pair of pants in my closet. And it may be still sitting around the scale, but I have a
Uh-huh.
pair of pants in my closet, and I've had them for maybe 4 years. And I said I will
Okay.
not get rid of those pants, because when I bought them, they were the size wrong, and I loved them. I said, I'm gonna get in these pants one day.
hmm
And the reality of the pants is, I don't have to be super small to get in the pants.
Okay.
I just and that's one thing I you know
hmm
my thought pattern was like, you don't have to. I bought the pants the
hmm
size that I was. They were
Yeah.
just sized wrong. That they were just cut wrong.
Okay.
So I don't have to be super skinny to get in these pants. Which is, I want to
hmm
get in these pants. I'm not gonna throw these pants away. And I almost did, but I was like, you know what? Me getting in these pants is not me saying, oh, I finally arrived. It's
hmm
me going toward a healthier me and not
hmm
having knee pain. It's
hmm
me knowing that, hey, you know, I'm choosing better. The
Yeah.
better that fits me.
hmm And that's good, because, like, it's attached to something else. Like you said, it's attached to you not having the knee pain and being healthier, because a lot of people will attach it to this certain number on a scale and say, this is my worth. Once I reach that and get in the pants, I'm worthy. And it's
Mm.
like, that's where you kind of go wrong. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and and that is it. That is where we go wrong. It's like,
Yeah.
no, because I've realized that no matter what size I am,
hmm
I have to show up and still be me.
Right. Right.
Because the purpose doesn't stop just because you gain 20, 30 pounds. And
hmm
that's the reality of that has been my reality over the past, I want to say, year and a half,
hmm
because I was in an environment that was very depressing and all of those things. And I just didn't,
Yeah.
I just stopped.
Yeah.
And so I was allowing the me gaining the weight back
hmm
to determine whether or not I should show up.
Yeah. And it's like you miss a lot out, like, on life when you do that. It's like you're waiting for this perfect time where you look a certain way. And I'm just like, just think about how much time you've let go by. And
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
I know,
Uh-huh.
because that was my reality. I look
Yeah.
at even my platform and my business. I'm like, why did you slow down? Why did you stop
hmm
showing up as much as you did? It's
Right.
because the double chin you got a little bit more noticeable, and
Yeah.
all of those things, not
hmm
realizing that my messaging, my
Yeah.
purpose, my value, my worth,
hmm
none of it have anything to do with the number is on the scale. It
Right.
doesn't have anything to do with if I chose to get a cupcake from K&J's Elegant
hmm
Pastries or I chose to drink that Dr. Pepper.
Right.
My existence, my value, my worth, my reason for being
hmm
is within me. It's not
Right.
what the shell is.
Exactly.
Yes, I understand our body is our temple and all of
Mhm.
those things, and we have to have our bodies
Yeah.
to navigate this earth.
hmm
But when your mind, it's telling you, and you adopt the thought patterns of, if I don't look a certain way, or if I
Mhm.
don't eat a certain thing in public, nobody is going to want to work with me. Nobody is going to want to hear me. They're going to be so busy looking at the outer shell that they
Yeah,
don't get the messaging.
that's true. Hmm.
And so I go to your page and a couple of other pages. And I'm like, you know what? They are killing it. Now I probably won't wear a crop top because I had surgery when I
Uh-huh.
was little, and I don't like the scar on my stomach.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's a feeling,
Yes. Hmm.
of feeling liberated
Hmm.
and free.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Liberated and free, and that's what I hear from you. There's this freedom about you. Like you said, we were told, dark, wear some dark,
Right.
wear the
Mhm.
black, don't wear loud colors, don't bring
Yeah.
attention, don't wear patterns. And you've
Hmm.
done videos about, wearing the patterns and all of
Yes.
those things, and I was like, okay, now.
Uh-huh. Like I had, and it's funny because my oldest son, and I should have took offense to it, but I didn't. But like he went into my closet and he was like, "Oh," he said, "Look at all your costumes. Those aren't costumes; they're my clothes because they're so bright and shiny." He sees sequins, he sees like a fur. Like I got all of these colors, and it does look like a costume closet because it's just so much in there. But I was like, it's no longer black when you walk in. Like
Yeah.
you see, it's so much stuff. I got like just spandex, bright yellow stuff. Like it's just, and yeah, it looks like a costume closet. But I was like, I'm glad it does.
Yeah, because what if, if you were still all black? Because like,
Hmm.
mom, why all your clothes are black?
Right, right.
And,
Hmm.
I have two kids. Kids, they when Bill Cosby said kids say the darnest thing,
Yes.
they say
Hmm.
whatever comes
Oh
up
yeah.
comes out, and it is what it is. You just have to
Hmm.
take it for what it is and just keep it
Yeah.
moving. But to him they look like costumes because,
Hmm.
one, he's a boy,
Yes. Hmm.
but the sequins, the colors, you say you're
Yeah.
bright and bubbly. Those are the things that represent you.
Right.
And you
Hmm.
are the most free in being you. And
Yes.
like you said, you were wearing the all black because you were
Hmm.
working at Mac, and they said black is more slimming, and you don't,
Right.
people
Hmm.
aren't gonna notice black. Okay, you're in all black. There's nothing
Hmm.
special about all black.
Right.
Even
Hmm.
black sequins, they were like, okay, it's sequins, but it's
Yeah.
still black. You can still fade into the background with all black. But if you come
Right.
in with your fur and your
Hmm.
your pink sequins and your, all of those things, and it's like, oh wow.
Yes.
I
It's
think
a,
about it's just like the Met Gala. They
hmm.
become they are extravagant, and people stand there and look at them. But
Yes.
look at me, I'm free.
Yes. Hmm.
And
They wear
that's
all kinds of crazy stuff,
Listen, listen. If it makes you feel good, wear it.
Yes.
See me, I'm a sneaker girl. I'm a jeans and tennis shoe type of girl. I don't
Uh-huh.
really wear heels. If you may catch me in the heel once every now and then.
Hmm.
I do a photo shoot. You're gonna see one. You're gonna see some pictures in heels, but majority of them you're gonna see me in some J's.
Uh-huh.
That is just me, but that's who I
That's
am.
right. Hmm.
But it's also liberating when I put on that bodycon
Hmm.
tank top dress with the heels,
Yes.
knowing that I've gained 20 pounds.
Hmm. But you feel good. You can do both.
I can do both and I feel good. And
Yeah.
that took some healing
Hmm.
because I've always been a thick girl.
Hmm.
I was curvy as far back as I can remember. I told my husband, I said, I can lose 50 pounds and I'm gonna still be curvy.
Yes. It's like, yeah, same. I've done it. I've lost, and I still got the thighs, still got the hips, and it's just like my body is not meant to be like that. I just had to come to terms with that.
And what people fail to realize, genetics plays a huge role in that as well.
Mm, it sure does.
And we have to understand who we are, our body types, all those, so many factors play a role in what we look like. Yes, there are some things we have control over. Yes, we can choose to do whatever, but
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to accept ourselves as who we are.
Mhm.
And having people out there like you telling us, girl, wear the shorts. Girl, wear the crop top. But then giving us recipes that are healthy, giving us recipes like if you want this cocktail, here's some cocktails for the holidays.
Right.
Here's a sweet treat. Here's a dessert. These are different things that inspiring us and motivating us, and then helping us to change our thought patterns, our
Right.
perspective of the food we take in our bodies.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have the recipes. You want something sweet, go in there and bake it. You don't have to go to the store
Right.
and get it that's full of preservatives. So just bake it yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
I was like, I baked a little cake with less sugar, and I had to put some yogurt in it to have less fat. So, like, yeah, I do a lot of that here, and you can still have your
I see all of it. See, told you, I watch. I sit there and because you have to have those safe spaces where you can go and just, if you need that perspective shift, if you need that extra, okay, girl, get your life together type situation.
Yeah.
And we need more faces like you. We need more people like you, more people who look like us.
Yes. That is so true.
More people who are more everyday people. Yes, like I said, the Lizzos and the celebrities who are out there, but we need people who go about their everyday lives just like us, saying, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to just be who you feel most comfortable be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So how important is it for women, especially plus size women, to see themselves represented in health and in wellness spaces like you are, like you represent every day?
I think, well, it's so important because, like I said, health is not one size. And when I even got into the field of nutrition and dietetics, I thought like I was on a mission to lose a certain amount of weight so that I could feel good in my profession, which was crazy. And it never happened. But like I was on that mission because I felt like I couldn't be a dietitian. I couldn't be in this space unless I looked a certain way. But as I, progressed in my field, I did see more dietitians that looked like me, but they were also afraid to make their presence known. So I was like, it's a lot of us here, but no one wants to show up because they're afraid of what other people might say. So I think it's important to see that representation, to see that you can still achieve a healthier lifestyle, but you don't have to pursue thinness all the time. Like that does not have to be your goal. And it's just important to share that message. And I try to share that with my kids because my oldest son, he's growing up, body's changing. I'm like, you don't have to have a goal to be, stick skinny. That's not you can have a goal to be healthier, to move more, to eat more fruits and vegetables. So, yeah.
Yeah, because some of the skinniest people out there are unhealthy.
Right. So you never know. Like you don't know.
And, because after my son, I had postpartum hypertension. Never had blood pressure issues. I've always been, like I said, on the thicker, fluffier side, but my cholesterol has always been amazing. I've had doctors say, "Are you on cholesterol medicine?" No, I'm not. It's just about the choices. And so you can be a size 20, 22 and be healthier than a size 2.
Yeah.
Because a size 2 can still have blood pressure problems. A size 2 can still have cholesterol problems.
Right.
And it's all about your perspective of what you're taking in, how you're moving, how you're feeling. And my blood pressure issues had nothing to do with food. It was postpartum.
Yes.
And it's, I have to watch sodium and stuff now. But at the end of the day, our relationship with food and our relationship with our bodies, everyone's journey is different.
Right. It is. And that's important to remember, especially like if you are looking on social media, you see a lot of influencers will say, this is what I eat in a day. This is how I'd eat to maintain this. And I'm just like, we're different. What you eat, it's not going to have the same effect on me. So you have to remember that.
And, there's, like I said, I've dieted. We've all dieted. And dieting is a quick fix. the goal is to be healthy.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
The goal is to be healthy and to just be free.
Mm-hmm.
Be free. Whatever that looks like to you, just
Right.
be healthy and be free.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about how you've shifted your own perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
how can women shift from a restrictive, guilt-driven relationship with food to
Mm-hmm.
one that's rooted in that same freedom and nourishment? What are some things that they can do?
Well, I think the main thing is just to, and I have to tell myself this sometimes too. Well, like people think body positivity is just like loving yourself 24/7, just no matter what. Like there are times where you have days or weeks where you may not feel so great with your body. You may feel like you need to change it. But the key thing to remember is respect. Like you have to remember to respect yourself and respect your body. And I think if you put that kind of top of mind, then okay, well, when I respect myself, I'm going to nourish it properly. I'm going to move it more. And I feel like if you keep that top of mind, then you'll kind of, I guess, be able to get out of some of those restrictive cycles.
I love that. Remove the restrictions by respecting your body.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
is great. Like really, never thought of like our bodies are temples,
Right.
and think about what you put in your body.
Mm-hmm.
On a regular, but just respect it.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yeah.
say something.
Well, I was saying like, yeah, because I know before, if like, say if I would have had like a bad dinner the night before or something, then the next morning I wouldn't want to eat breakfast. I was punishing my body and I was like, that's not respect. But because I was in a thinner body at that time, no one cared. It was like, oh, good job. You losing weight, you look great. But I was not respecting my body, and that was not healthy for my body. So I feel like, we just got to respect it. Even when we don't feel that great about it, still got to respect it.
Okay. Got you. Yeah, because, I know several people who skip meals.
Right.
And starve their bodies of
Mm-hmm.
the nutrients that it needs to thrive, to move, to
Right.
go about its day. But, it goes back to giving yourself grace. Okay, you went a little bit overboard last night.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, still eat that breakfast the next morning.
Right.
You still get some nourishment the next morning
Yeah.
because your body needs that fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't eat such healthy foods the night before, and that went, your body didn't burn any of that, and that stuck to you,
Uh-huh.
then you need those key
Right.
nutrients, the things that will fuel you to keep going.
Yes. Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
So, lost a little sound here. Can't hear you. My mic went out. There we go.
My end. Okay.
Okay, it wasn't you, it's me.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, little technical difficulties right here. My headphones went out. So this has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for just, taking us along your journey and the things that you've gone through to heal your relationship with food, your body, understanding that it is, it's important to respect your body.
Yes.
Understand that it is here. It is a vessel. It needs nourishments. We don't need to deprive our body. So
Right.
what if we make poor food choices, every now and then? So what if you have the Coke? So what if you have the piece of cake? It's all about respecting your body at the end of the day and understanding that your body is your body and nobody else can tell you what
Right.
freedom looks like for you.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right.
And I love that. And if you want, like I said, if it's okay to have a scale goal, but reach for something that is a non-scale goal. Whether you, like you said, want to move better,
Yeah.
or like me, get rid of knee and the back pain and not have to
Right.
go to the chiropractor so much, or just to feel comfortable in your own skin.
Right.
Remembering that your size has nothing to do with your purpose.
That is exactly right. And if you do have that scale goal, if you want to have it, that's fine. Just don't tie your worth to that. Your worth is not a number on the scale.
That's it. That's it. because that was my thing. I said I wanted to be this and this, but I realized if I get to that size, people gonna think that I'm on something's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's more so about whatever number alleviates the pain, whatever number allows me to move better and to feel a little bit more comfortable in the clothes that whatever that number is, I'll know that number. And so the goal is to be healthy, to be whole, to be healed, and to just love yourself unapologetically, no matter what size you are. Any final thoughts you would like to give our listeners before we wrap up?
I believe you kind of just said it, just making sure that you're doing things for you, living your life the way you want to live it, not for anybody else. It's the way that you want to live your life. And I think that's what's most important.
Cool beans. And before we close, you just launched something amazing.
Yes.
You launched something amazing. So I'm not going to let us close out without you, because you have been giving us all the goodies, and you have really grown your following, and to gift the world what you just launched. Tell my audience, just tell them about it. Just tell them about what you just launched, and it's amazing, y'all.
Thank you. So I have Beautifully Social, and it is an exclusive. And I always say it's exclusive because I only take a small amount of people at a time, but it's a course and it's for 6 weeks, and it's for branding and social media. So I have learned so much over the years about social media. I've taught myself things and just kind of gained so much knowledge. So I have a course that puts together how to create content, how to gain confidence showing up on social media, all the things that you need to be successful. That's what I have in that course. So, and I also offer one-on-one consultations and like mentoring services. So if you're not ready to do the courses yet, you can book like a one-on-one, and we can talk about your social media and branding goals too.
There you have it. Yes. There you have. So I love it. I love this about it. When I saw that you launched it, I was like, girl, you better get it. You better get it, because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. You have your receipts. I love a good receipt. You have your receipts, and it's, spread the knowledge, spread the wealth. And I love that for you. I pray that your platform reaches places that will really blow your mind. Because you are showing us what authenticity look like. You are showing us what it looks like to just be unapologetic in your purpose, in your value, in your worth, and just going for the gusto.
Thank you. And that's my goal. Like, I just wanted to show people you can succeed by being you, so that's my goal.
Because there are a lot of imposters out there, and like I said, God will bless the authentic you and nothing less. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for lending your expertise, and thank you for taking us, giving us a look in your journey beyond the healing, after you've gone through the healing of your own body image, of your own self-worth, your value, and all of those things, and then showing us what it looks like after the fact. This is the result of doing the work. This is the result of making a decision to just go for it and not allowing anybody or anything to stop you. So thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Beyond the Healing. Like I said, this is a podcast where we go beyond just sharing testimony, but we dive into what life looks like after the healing starts and beyond the healing. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. And if you want to connect with Andrea, all of her information will be in the caption below. Be sure to follow her on social media. She is an amazing influencer, amazing. She's just amazing altogether. And I'm so glad that she decided to share a little bit of her knowledge with us today. Thank you so much, Andy. Until next time, I love you with the love of the Lord, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Remember to give yourself grace, because you won't always get it right. The grace that God gives us when we don't get it right. I'll see you next time. Bye.